A couple of years down the road, you're sitting at a bar. You're there, wrist deep in a basket of buffalo mild chicken wings, hot out of the fryer.
Yeah, hell yeah.
You it's just this like it's just this like chill little bar that's like right down the road from where you work. So sometimes you get off work, you go hang out, you order some chicken wings, you just kind of decompress.
Yeah, I always back in the day I loved doing that when I worked at the tavern especially. Big time
Sure.
compressor back in them days.
Yeah, you just need some time that exists solely to for itself,
Sure. Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
So again, you're munching on this basket of wings. They got a TV on, a couple TVs. And there's a story. This is like in evening news. There's a story about a guy who smeared a handful of medium wet shit
They, what?
all over the Mona Lisa, right?
They report on the consistency of the shit.
Yeah, yeah. They're in the
Why?
middle of it, and the anchor person goes, "We come to you tonight with horrible news that will shock the world as Kevin Calvin Kilvin, an Australian man, smeared a handful of his own feces across the face of the beautiful Mona Lisa." And then they cut to it, and there's just like a handprint and a
Oh
wing,
God.
right?
That's
And
so
he
horrible.
goes, "As you can see, the consistency of this is medium wet, so it's gonna take a little while. They have to dry it out, And he kind of like puts his finger to his ear, and he goes, I'm actually being told they have found traces of peanuts. Yeah, there are peanuts in this, folks.
Absolutely unnecessary.
So you're just like,
What is the newsworthiness of them letting us know that?
just like a supreme act of vandalism has occurred on like one of the
No, I
greatest works of
understand
art
that, but why bring up the how it's just so gross.
because they want to keep you informed. They
Who
want you to
would need
have
to know
all the
that?
facts. I don't know. I don't work for the news. So you're sitting there, you're watching this, and you and the bartender are just like, "Oh my God, can you believe like the nerve of some people to take this thing that is part of like the public, It's a thing we all know that we've seen 1,000 times throughout the course of our lives and like defile it. Like it
Yeah, I mean,
and it's like as an appreciator of art and somebody who values art, it like pisses you off to see that,
yeah, I mean, there are definitely worse things to do, but that's still very shitty, man. That's very shitty. It just makes me
especially in this
think of
case.
like lost ancient art that like we never got to see because somebody destroyed it, you know?
Yeah. And that's what you say to the bartender.
They should throw the book at this guy, I say.
Yeah. And the
And I
bartender's like, yeah,
chomp
they
my
should.
wings.
You fucking eat your wings. The bartender's like, yeah, they should. Like they should throw the fucking book at this guy. So you finish your wings. And this guy's still like, this is the other thing about it is that they didn't catch the guy. They know who he is,
Oh,
but they didn't catch him.
Kilvin.
Kevin Calvin Kilvin. He
Ah,
so he's like on the run from the authorities.
on the run. What an
Yeah.
absurd crime to be on the
They
run for.
the like one like the New York Post, there has a picture of like the handprint and it says on the run with the runs, you know, and there's like a whole profile about him. Kevin is like an Australian nationalist who, has been staying in the States now for a little while. He works for like a tech company doing some fucking software thing. I don't know. But he just like hates like political oppression and he wanted to make a statement. And so he just, you know, went up to the Mona Lisa. The Mona Lisa's on tour right now.
Yeah.
And it's called Mona Lisa Live. And Mona Lisa Live
Oh, they call it
is
that.
they call it Mona Lisa Live is an AI like hologram of like the Mona Lisa being painted in real time, right? And so it shows him like standing up and like scratching his ass, and like
Ugh.
you know, taking a drink and stuff and uh pissing into an open hole on the floor. They show that. If you sit by that part, during the part where
What?
he pisses into the open hole on the floor, there is like a wet component of the show where your like
Oh my
feet get
God.
wet, you know, with like a warm liquid. They like splash it on your feet.
This is truly awful. This is so upsetting.
Yeah. So, but at the end of it, there's like a beautifully painted Mona Lisa, and then they break the hologram and reveal the real Mona Lisa, and you can like go up and get your picture taken next to it. It's like a whole experience.
That sounds
Mona
so
Lisa
terrible.
live.
I almost don't blame the guy. I mean, I have to, but I almost don't blame the guy.
But he did like defile this, like,
I know. I mean, that
you
sucks
know,
so bad. You can't do
yeah.
that. But at the same time, it's like, oh,
And he got away, he
yeah,
got out of there. So, you're it's just like an annoying thing. It's just you're just like, man, fuck this person. I hope they get caught and I hope they get whatever's coming to them, like for ruining a thing that so many people enjoy. They go, fuck that guy.
what does the bartender think?
Bartender's like, yeah, I fucking hope they find him too. You can't have somebody doing that shit, And he's like, and with like your own shit, you know?
Yeah,
He's like, you probably grabbed a door handle on the way out, he probably like
yeah,
wiped it on a wall somewhere. And some guy who's like in his 60s is gonna have to go clean up this guy's shit, just and you're like, yeah, I guess like somebody what's the
yeah, I
you know,
guess.
you
And
kind
I'm
of
just eating those chicken wings during this
you're
this whole
crushing
dive
these chicken
shot.
wings
It's
and
disgusting.
you're kind of
So
like
gross.
you're like, yeah, it's almost like when you drop a pebble into a still lake and you see the ripples, how all of our actions have an impact on those around us. And you just eat these wings, right? And the bartender is just blown away by like this very astute, knowledgeable response.
Oh my God. Where did I get that? Holy shit, Pat. Oh, that sucks. Yeah, yeah, you
And
kind of suck, dude.
it is like a nice day outside. You finish your wings.
Okay, good.
You like are ready to drive home. You look at your car and it's just fucking dirty. And you're like, maybe I'll just go get a car wash on my way home. And go into the weekend with a car wash. It kind of feels nice sometimes to do that. So you go to this there's like a little car wash place on your way home. It's there's like kind of a line, There's like a bay and you drive inside the bay and it like there's the rollers and the brush thing, it's like the whole thing. You just kind of like sit there in your car. It takes a little bit of time. So you're kind of waiting in line. This car wash is just like, I don't know, not even a half mile from your house. You pull inside eventually, you put in your debit card and you opt for like the nice. It's like a $15 car wash, right? You put the card in, pull forward, and like the bay door closes behind you, and you're just in like this metal box. These soft red lights come on.
Yeah.
They sort of like hover over and around the car. You just kind of like tilt your seat back for a minute, right? And then there's just like this soft, like white noise, hum, whir of machinery and like brushes scraping up against your car.
Yeah.
And the next thing you know, you just like fall asleep. It's
Oh
like so
no.
relaxing.
Oh no. Not good. That's really
Yeah.
horrifying.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't know the time of like when you get out, but you've been in there for quite a while.
Oh man, yeah, falling asleep like that, that's horrifying. The car wash itself sounded kind of nice, but
It is nice. The problem though is that when you wake up, it's to the sound of like metal being ripped apart. And you
uh
look down, you've been in there so long that this car wash is tearing your car apart,
holy shit.
layer
No.
by layer by layer.
No.
You hear the sound of a fire engine right outside. Through a crack underneath the main front bay door, you see the flashing reds, and you know that they're out there waiting for you. You hear people like screaming, like "Hello," and you're just stuck in this thing. And you hear just the creak of the metal being ripped apart, and you don't know what else to do but scream. You wake up,
Uh
you come to.
yeah.
Your entire body feels like incredibly sensitive, like overwhelmingly sensitive. Like you move and your skin just feels like tissue paper. It just feels like everything feels so delicate.
Oh, oh no. Oh man.
You hear a nurse yell down the hallway, "He's awake." A bunch of doctors
Shit.
rush in. They go, "Pat, Pat, don't move. Just lay right where you are and relax." They go, "There was an accident at the car wash. Yeah, the car wash it malfunctioned and it like ran like too hard for too long and it tore your car apart layer by layer and then it like basically skinned you. It like ripped all your clothes off, right? And you won't when that happened, you swear in the back of your brain that the building just kind of went, oh, you know. Uh,
What?
so
What do you mean?
and then it like peeled like most of your outer layer of skin off, and you're just
Uh
like a big bright red blistery mess.
oh man, that is so awful, Aaron.
And
Oh, that
like
is so genuinely terrible. Okay.
now that you're kind of like coming to, like everything fucking hurts. Everything, every square inch of your body hurts. You are in agony throughout most of the next 3 weeks.
Oh man.
Your body starts to like generate a new layer of skin. You have bandages, like you're able to like get up and walk around for a few minutes at a time,
Oh,
you
really?
know.
Okay, so that's quite the comeback.
Yeah, yeah.
But
You have to wear like
geez,
certain like soft shoes,
I'd
and
be
you
a
don't really
different
like leave the
person
room.
at
Yeah,
the end
so
of that ordeal.
you
Uh,
rehabilitate. It takes a few months, but eventually you get back up and running. You're Pat again. You'd sue the shit out of the fucking car wash people. They pay all your medical bills. You make $400,000 on it,
okay, well, there's that, I guess.
right? Which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, I guess.
So, but you're like, that's like not enough to live on forever. You can't just
No,
live on that. So,
no.
talk to you talk to some people, you invest it in for your future. It's going to be a great nest egg for you down the line. You're like, I'm doing pretty good right now. I'm gonna stay in my lane. I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing. I got this big chunk of cash. I'll throw it into something that'll make it, double or triple it in a handful, however long it takes.
Hmm.
You know,
Okay.
this is for future Pat. This is an unexpected win for future Pat.
Jeez.
So you invest that cash, right? You eventually get back on your feet. You're working a job, right? You you have this like you're waiting tables again. You have this like mop sink in the back
Uh-huh.
where you're filling up like a mop bucket, and it's got a thing where you hit a button and like soap comes out. You know how it's like a soap dispenser thing.
Okay.
So you're kind of like standing over this mop bucket, you're staring into the hot water. For some reason, you're just like pulled into it. And not like physically, like but you're just like drawn and like
My attention.
you are solely focused on the steam escaping the surface of this water. And you're kind of like watching the wisps of steam as they dissipate. And you snap your fingers and you like point at the bucket of water. You ever do something where you're like, and stop? You're kind of like you're like now, you're
Okay.
kind of just doing
Yeah.
like a weird point thing. And when you
Sure.
do that, a ray of soap suds shoots out of your pointer finger and lands right into that mop bucket. And you kind of like look at your finger, you hold it up to your face, you're like, huh? You see those
Yeah.
bubbles of soap on the end of your pointer finger?
Oh
Like
man.
look around, nobody saw it or anything. You shake it off. You kind of like finish your job, right? You go home and you're just like, what the fuck? What the fuck happened? And you try to like recreate it, right?
Mm.
You try to like, can I do this again? And you manage to do it like 3 or 4 times over the next couple of hours. But it's
Okay.
something that you feel like, oh, I can feel myself getting closer to being able to do this regularly, you know?
It's starting to come together.
It's starting to come together. You're sitting there, you're just eating dinner, you're looking at the dishes in the sink. You kind of focus. You look at like one of the plates, right? There's a bunch of crumbs on the plates. You stare into those crumbs, and it's almost like you're counting each individual morsel, and you're just laser focused. And you snap and you point at that plate, and a stream of soap just shoots out of your fingers. And that plate is instantly like clean. You look at your finger again, the television's on in the background. The news anchor goes, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a tough week for art lovers everywhere. He says today the Pieta was vandalized,
Oh.
and a guy had covered his. He had like a dick and balls print that he left on the Pieta, like on her face.
Oh,
Like his whole,
gee.
just like across her face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh man.
And he goes, I'm told again that the assailant was not captured and is on the run.
Man, I hate that that's making me laugh. That is so fucking stupid. Okay. All right, so he's on the run.
He's on the run. You look at the picture of just like this messy dick and balls print on the Pieta, right? And they say the guy on the news goes, restorations could cost tens of thousands of dollars. You kind of like look at your soapy finger and you think that like somebody has to put a stop to this, and you know who. You pay close attention to the news over the next couple weeks. You see that the Betsy Ross flag, the original Betsy Ross flag, is also like on tour. It's like making the rounds at like historical societies, libraries, universities, shit like that. You decide to like they're doing like a big like the biggest one. Like the one that they're saying like is like the huge blowout event. The end of this tour thing is going to be in New York City on the 4th of July at the foot of the Statue of Liberty. They're going to raise the Betsy Ross flag onto the tallest flagpole anybody's ever built just for this event. It's as tall as the Statue of Liberty. It's a single flagpole, and it's gonna they're like pulling it up by hand. It's gonna take them several minutes to get that fucker all the way up to the top. So it's gonna be a big ordeal, right? Beyonce's gonna perform.
Oh, really?
Uh yeah, she's gonna come out and saying God bless America. Um Steve-O is gonna jump from the torch into the water
Oh,
below, right?
hell yes. That
Right.
is so tight.
He has the website of a betting platform tattooed on his ass before he jumps, and he pulls his pants down and shows everybody on the way down. He makes like $8 million, breaks both of his legs.
I love all of
He
that.
almost drowns, and when he gets out, he never does another stunt, and he finds God.
Oh,
So
wow.
it's gonna be like a whole big thing, right? It's gonna be a whole big deal. This Betsy Ross flag celebration, and you're like something just tells you that this guy's gonna strike again, and when he does, you're gonna be ready. So you go 4th of July weekend, New York City.
My birthday.
You take a red eye in. You wake up as the sun rises over the horizon, almost like it's saying, "Good morning, Patrick. Happy birthday."
Almost like it's saying that, huh? Oh, I guess that's okay. I guess
You
it's
feel
cool.
the rays of the sun warm on your face.
Oh God.
You land in New York. You have a ticket for the event at the Statch Lib, as you call it.
Why do hold on, why do I call
Some
it that?
because you're trying to fit in New York, and so you think one way to do that is just to like abbreviate the names of things because they're too busy to say the words
Oh,
out in
okay.
full. Because so you get off a bus and you go, hey, where do I pick up my ticket for the Statch Lib? And some homeless guy just like spits like right at your feet. So you go in, right?
Oh my God. What an insecure prick. That sucks so bad.
You got your hands in your pockets, the tips of your fingers sticky with
It's
what's
all bad
waiting
so far.
to burst out of them. You're kind of standing off to the side to where you have a good shot. And you've been practicing, like you have a good idea of like distance. If you're within 50 feet, you're probably going to hit this thing unless there's extreme wind. You can really put some sauce on it. So they have like the Betsy Ross Society comes out. They give a speech about Betsy Ross's contributions to American culture. Um, and they say that this is her original flag. And this is like the best example of her, surviving of her work. And it's an honor to display it here in like the most iconic symbol of freedom in the Western world. They say, and thank you to Home Depot for sponsoring the flagpole that will reach all the way to the top. And they say, so the winners of the Dr. Pepper uh, pole man competition, please come forward. And there's like two like 13-year-old kids. who like won some competition to be the guys to like raise the flag, you know.
Okay.
And so they like take turns. They go at like a breakneck speed because it takes so long to get it up there because of the height of the bowl. They take turns, you know, because they just stamina is an issue. Dr. Pepper foresaw that, so they have these guys come in a team, so that way they can switch off back and back and forth. And it couldn't have gone to two nicer kids, you know.
Okay.
It really couldn't have.
Whatever.
So, Beyonce's playing. These guys are like cranking this flag up this pole. An F-35 does a flyover. You see the Betsy Ross flag. They've got a camera on it. There's like a big video board that shows it waving in the wind. You see it flying there for just a second. You remember what it felt like when you were a kid on the 4th of July in your hometown. Nobody knew it was your birthday, but the whole city celebrated anyways. You remember being on the side of a road with your mom and dad while like a fire truck drove by and some kids threw candy out of it. You guys got to catch it, and you keep it on the side of the road, right?
We kept
You
the
watch a you
candy.
watched a yeah, you was like watched a little parade of, go through your town,
McLean, Virginia.
McLean, Virginia. And it made you remember what it felt like when being an American meant something to you. A feeling you haven't had for quite a while.
Mm, okay.
A tear does come to your eye. They lower the flag, right? They get ready to lower the flag, the ceremony is ending. The place is getting close to like clearing out, and you look around and you see a guy kind of standing over in a corner near like a water fountain, and he's like eyeballing the flag as it's descending from the pole. He kind of like looks around and starts walking in the direction of the Home Depot sponsored Betsy Ross flagpole. What do you do? As he's walking, you see him like reach his hand into his like the back of his pants, and he's like digging around.
Hmm. I would have to stop this.
What do you do?
So hold on. So I'm sorry. Where am I again in relation to him?
He's like running. You're kind of like running like east to west. You're like running like south to north towards the
Okay.
thing.
So I guess I would try to tackle him and I would scream.
So, what do you scream?
Probably like, I don't know, just like stop or I don't know.
Yeah, you scream
I wouldn't
stop.
be I wouldn't be able to think of anything good, like anything like clever, or
You
iconic. I
scream.
think I would just
You
stop.
don't. You go stop,
Stop.
and you like
Come
tackle him,
on.
right? He pulls his hand out of his pants and he just wipes a big mess of medium wet shit right in
No,
your
no,
face.
no. That's unacceptable.
You go, oh, you freak out, your mouth
Ah,
opens, right? He like gets up off of you. You do this thing where you take your fingers and you like clear your lenses on your glasses like they're windshield wipers, and
okay.
you see him like running away. You get up and go after him.
Absolutely. I'm
You
pissed.
get up, you start running after him. You like reach a finger out, you feel the sticky soap on the tip of your finger.
Yeah, yeah.
You aim at his back and you just fire. You see a ray of like soap shoot from your hand and knocks him to the ground, just feet in front of the flag. His hands full of shit. You stand over him. What do you do?
I think I just start screaming at him, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I almost wouldn't know what to do.
So you stand over him, right? You're just like screaming at him. He sort of like backs up and he goes to like get up and run away.
Uh-huh.
you like you go to like kind of like stop him, and he bumps you and he knocks you like off of like the island into the water, and you're just like, oh, you start to like freak out, and you just like start shooting soap from your
Oh,
hands, so everything like bubbles up around you.
yeah.
Like all the fish in the immediate area just like float to the surface and start to
Oh
die,
no.
right?
Oh
You just
no.
start to swim, but you're creating just like bubbles after bubbles after bubbles. Eventually, it gets like so thick that you can't go anymore, and you just
I'm so
drown right there
sorry.
next to the Statue of Liberty.
No. No. No one
In
tries to
the in the
save me.
shadow, in the shadow of Statue of Liberty, you drown right there. As the medic EMS was hauling Steve-O's gnarled body away,
Oh,
they saw
right.
you drowning, and they go, "We only got one boat," and they just drove away, saving Steve-O and leaving you there to drown right there in the shadow of the Statue of Liberty.
Are you fucking serious?
Yeah,
They take Steve-O and not me.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
I guess you could make the argument that in the again, I guess that he's more important, I guess, in
Oh yeah,
a larger
yeah,
sense. I guess you can make that argument, but it's still what the fuck?
yeah,
I mean, I guess I get it, but I'm still kind of annoyed about that.
yeah, yeah. The soap, like you just got like trapped in the bubbles and like couldn't breathe, and he fucking died right there in New York.
Oh man, yeah, nothing about this was good. Ah, man.